very good to me. He used to take me to art galleries and things like that and introduce me to different things. And he came to India when I was 13, and he came back with all these amazing stories about the place. And he, I think, influenced me. I saw Gandhi. The whole idea of Gandhi's struggle for, the struggle for independence, what he represented, the struggle for independence for the Indians seemed just so just and so right. And it really resonated with me. And not just Gandhi, but the scenes in the movie of all those right people who did that, like the salt marches and those sorts of things, have been a tremendous inspiration. And when I was 17, I saw Peter Brook's version of the Mahabharata, which completely blew me away.
Yeah?
Went for 10 hours. And
what was it that intrigued you the most about it?
well, look, it was so different to what I had understood about religious texts. I mean, I grew up as a Catholic, and I didn't immediately want to run away and become a convert. Then I went back and saw it again. Yudhishthira and Bhim and Arjuna and Nakula and Sahadeva, all very much a part of my life. And Yudhishthira as the most incredible hero, who is supposedly the most perfect man, but then has the flaw of gambling away his whole life. I just thought, wow, a religion that actually holds somebody up as perfect, but then gives him this amazing flaw, but then doesn't judge him for it. And Draupadi, who marries 5 men, and that, it just seemed to challenge everything. The thing about Christianity is that it's become, well, it started off with the 10 Commandments, and it's very prescriptive, like, you know, if you do this, you'll go to heaven.
They have kind of made it kind of easier to understand for the common man, you know, who doesn't want to, or doesn't have the inclination to go too deep into religion. Maybe that's
true. That's true. But and that's right. And all those things are good, and they're good guides for your life. And you cannot go past the intelligence of Jesus too.
Yeah.
The institutionalization of the Catholic Church has certainly, I think, mixed things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And but you know, I'm still a faithful follower of Jesus. But India has opened up so many other ways of thinking as well.
Yeah, it's very possible that if you get your past life regression done, you know, you might just have been an Indian, maybe.
Oh, that's interesting, and a few people have said that to me, and I certainly feel really comfortable here, bathing in a bucket and living in a village and sleeping on the floor. Well, not quite sleeping on the floor, can't do that. But I think I could get used to it. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it, and I'm certainly. I love the communal life. I love people.
We were talking about, you know, your interest in faces. What is the whole challenge of, you know, doing portraits and portraiture? Yeah,
getting a likeness of somebody is requires a lot of observation, but at the same time, I think portraits and faces allow the audience to think very closely about the subject, more than just concentrating on the technique of the artist. Should show that you've got some skill.
What is your whole process? I mean, you study a face, you click that picture, or do you keep him in front of you and then you paint, or how do you do it? And which have been the most challenging faces till now? I mean, for instance, you made these portraits of these Sikh students, you know.
Yeah.
This whole beard thing and those details.
Oh, look, beards and turbans are a gift to portrait makers.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you don't have to draw their mouths.
Oh,
and mouths are so difficult.
Yeah? Okay.
The most challenging portraits to make are of women, and especially young, beautiful women, because they are very conscious of what they look like. And they're usually quite often not happy with the result, because it's really hard, and I always feel under great stress, because with a man's face you can do as many lines as you want. With a woman, like, the less lines the better, because
but then you as an artist have your artistic license. You can do whatever you read of the face.
And when I'm in Sydney, I do work at a market, drawing people on the spot, which I find really hard work. It's really challenging, because you're meeting perfect strangers who are willing to part with $25 on the spot to get a portrait done, and you've only got one chance, because they're not going to sit there twice.
Yeah.
doing a portrait of somebody is about respecting that person for who they are, you know, with all their, you know, warts and all, you could say. And you don't know those people, but if you can give them some self-respect and self-confidence, they might have all the confidence in the world, but if you can just do that, that's a good work, I think, that art can do.
Okay. How long do you have to make a person sit in front of you to?
Well, in the market, it's fairly intense, so 20 minutes max is what people can sit there for, or what people prepared for.
Okay.
But you know, in a commission oil painting, you know, people do it for days.
You used charcoal for some of your sketches. Why that? What is
charcoal's a great medium. It's really immediate. It's really primal, elemental. It's just wood, burnt wood.
Yeah.
You can put it on, you can take it off. You can rub it, you can erase it. It's really responds beautifully on paper. You can get great big bits and small bits. You can do delicate things. And you can put all your energy into it, and it's cheap. And I think that's, you know, and it's just elemental, it's basic. I like that. You know, if you start using expensive materials, then you start getting really precious about your work as well, and it inhibits you a little bit.
Australia being a very modern city, on the run, and very corporate and industrial. How receptive are Australians, and in fact this whole world, you know, the Western world, most of it except maybe a bit of Europe, towards art? How sensitive are they towards that? And can you make a life, a living out of art in Australia?
I think artists all over the world struggle to make a living. I don't think there's any country. But, you know, the bigger the city, the more cosmopolitan, the more people, the more likely you are to be able to sell your work. Sydney and Melbourne are great for my sort of art, and certainly for the Aboriginal art as well. And yeah, people do buy it, but you know, I don't think you can compare it to bigger population places. I think in India people are pretty good at patronising the arts. Yeah.
Which is the highest point of your whole process of creativity? You know, when you catch a face which you find interesting enough, what is it about that face that catches your attention, and then how do you go about it, and which is the highest point, which is the point of maximum fulfillment, you know, for you as an artist?
You get a face. Working with the Sikhs was a gift. They're such interesting and beautiful faces, and you know, there's something in a Indian face that is genuine and sort of intelligent and gutsy and innocent and courageous all at the same time, and you want to capture all of those things. You know, that's a good moment when it works, because you, as an artist, there's so many moments when it just doesn't work and you're tearing your hair out and you know, mostly it's like that.
Right, right. But when are you the happiest about it?
Oh, look, I'm happiest about it when I feel as though it's good and it's there and it's done. And if people go, wow, that's fantastic, that's a good moment. If there's a wow factor, that's pretty good. Okay,
we'll talk about the whole love for India and the Indianness of things, you know. Have you been tasting the food here? Have you been? How do you like the Indian cuisine?
Look, it got a big surprise when I came to India, because I thought Indian food was like the Indian food we get in Australia, because there's lots of Indian restaurants in Australia.
Okay.
But you know, they're fairly standard: butter chicken, lamb rogan josh, and surprisingly to Indians, beef vindaloo, which all the Indian students think.
And you were a waiter once. You worked as a waiter in an Indian
restaurant. Yeah, my first job when I was at university, it was as an Indian,
so
as a waiter in an Indian restaurant.
So you must be rattling off all those names, you know, those fancy names of Indian dishes.
Yeah, well, I love that food. In fact, as a student, we used to go there and snack on all the food. And as a student, and you're really poor, you know, you'd get anything, eat any of the leftovers and all that sort of stuff. Which was, but it was great. And I remember trying lassi and coriander for the first time in my life, and all these amazing new flavours. Mango lassis were fantastic. Coming to India was like a huge explosion of all these different things. And I was in Sector 15 the other day in the evening, and suddenly all those snack guys came out on the street. And I just couldn't, it was like Christmas. I was trying every single snack. Aloo tikkia and those roasted sweet potatoes with chutneys and lemon juice. It's really beautiful. And there was something else. Momos.
Yeah.
Beautiful steamed momos, and all the variety of snacks that you've never even thought of, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of things. And that golkappa, beautiful. And
yeah.
amazing textures, and some things are crunchy and some things are hot and some things are cold. And
okay, tell me, you know, your work takes you across the globe, you know, you must have traveled to other countries also. Is it fair to draw comparisons between people of different countries because they come from different geographies and cultures? Or do you think essentially human beings are the same?
Yeah, they are. And any differences that are there are beautiful and should be celebrated, because basically we are the same. Basically, wherever you go, everybody is concerned about a few things, and that is mostly relationships. People are mostly concerned about relationships no matter where you go on the planet.
Yeah.
I remember when I first learnt another language, and I realised, oh my God, languages are different ways of talking about things.
Okay, finally, you know, what is this whole life of being an artist? What kind of perspective has it given you about life, about the essential questions, you know, what are we doing here, why are we here? How has it helped you?
Well, one thing is I always knew that I should be an artist, and I am, and that it's helped me realise that once you are doing the thing that you should be doing, that was the other thing I got from the Mahabharata about Dharma.
Yeah.
They say Dharma or Dharam, and Dharam, I think, is a mixture between your destiny and your free will.
Yeah.
And when they both combine together, that's when you're on your Dharam, your right path. And I think that when I became an artist, I've got closer to my Dharam. I think art is a form of, it's a form of a spirituality. And that's what the gurus, Guru Nanak, the 10 gurus, Jesus, Muhammad, they were about, encouraging
You've studied
people to think.
the Sikh texts also?
I can't say I have, but I've read Guru Nanak's words, and I'm inspired by what he says. And in the exhibition, and the beautiful quote by Guru Nanak which said, you know, who shall I call the other? It's the evil mind that talks about the other and then goes about ever in duality.
Yeah.
He said, around the earth I never see the other, not in man or woman or in any being. I only see the light of the lamps and the sun. Yeah. Which is such a beautiful, beautiful quote.
Why don't you say something in Punjabi or Hindi before we...
Oh, Sat Sri Akal, ki haal hai? मैं बहुत खुश इंडिया में. मेरे हिंदी बहुत ख़राब है, लेकिन और हिंदी सीख रहा हूँ.
सीख रहा हूँ.
सीख रहा हूँ.
You're absolutely brilliant.
Oh.
Yeah, really.
Thanks a lot. No, Hindi is a beautiful language.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's great.
I wish you all the best, Daniel, and hope the journey gets even more interesting and, you know, quite an evolution for you.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Much.
It's a delight. Thank you.
Thanks.
At the core of all art, as Daniel says, lies the need for fulfilling relationships, the crucial one being with one's self, and of course, about chasing the eternal light. Hope this artist finds his way well into the arms of the truth we all seek between us.